Now that Docker is installed, let's run our first container. We're going to use the following command. First thing we're going to type Docker. That's going to be the name of the Docker executable. Next is going to be run. Now Docker run, if I just go ahead and click on this immediately, is a command that will allow us to run a command in a new container. Slightly meta there, but notice that whenever we run Docker and the name of command, it'll give us a little usage and some information on how to use that command. So we're going to do Docker run, and we're also going to provide a couple flags. We're going to provide int. Now this is going to allocate what's called a sudo tty, or sudo teletypewriter. And think of this essentially as an interactive bash shell that will be connected to the container. We're also going to provide the -p flag, and this is going to specify ports that we're going to publish. We're going to publish port 80 to port 3000. Now, when we think about processes running inside of Docker, consider that a Docker container is isolated. It's isolated from everything that's going on your machine. However, an isolated application still has to communicate with things outside of it. In this case, we're going to be running a web server, and we want to be able to access it from our local host. In this case, we're going to map a port to a port on localhost, because inside the container, the web server is going to run on port 80. Now, if we don't publish that port, we can't really do anything with that web server. It won't be accessible outside the container. So this is saying, okay, we are going to take this port that's internal or inside the container and map it to a port that is external or outside the container so we can access it on our local machine. And then we're going to type the name of the image that we want to run, and that's going to be Nginx. So this is going to create an Nginx container. Now Nginx is going to be a web server. Now if we go ahead and run that, you'll see that we won't get any output, but we can verify that this container is running by going to localhost :3000, and we should get welcome to Nginx. The Nginx web server is successfully installed and working. And then over here in our terminal, we have some output. We've got some server logs going. If I keep on refreshing over here, we'll get more server logs over in our terminal. If I go to a path that doesn't exist, it will give me a 404, and that will also be output in the terminal. So there we go. We just ran our first Docker container. Now in the next section, we're going to kind of break this command a little down and talk about all the different components.